discussed last time? May I ask Ruby to start it, please?
Time.
Okay. Ruby?
Hello. Hello po, sir.
Yes.
Once again, good afternoon po. Last time, we have discussed about the about the budgeting po, sir, about budgeting. How to first the budget allocation in the school. Ano po? Tingnan ko lang.
Yes, okay. Sige. Just the key ideas na pag-usapan natin.
Sir, we have discussed, sir, about the sir, the budget in the school. That in disbursement, we have teachers to first we have teachers in the school to monitor to check if our report is correct, valid. After po sa school, meron po yung mga ADAS district na sila po yung mag-check, mag-verify.
Yes.
Then after po sa district, and hindi pa po doon nagtatapos, division office, sila po yung final po na sila na po yung mag-check po tama po yung mga tinabmit mong mga documents, kung valid po yung mga documents na tinabmit about the budget or the fund na galing po sa
Yes. Sino yung mga responsible people, accountable people sa school?
Meron po, sir, yung mga back committee, sir. May teachers po talaga, sir, na sila po yung mag-check, sir, sa mga documents po na ito, sir, in the school.
Yeah. Anong tawag niya natin sa kanila?
Back members, sir. We have the back members, sir, the leads and account committee. Sila po yung mga committees, sir, sa
anong tawag natin sa kanila? Anyone? Jonathan, you're saying something?
Yes, sir. They are the back members for the Bids and Awards Committee po, sir, in the school. It is composed of chairman and 3 members or 2 members po.
Okay. Bids and Awards Committee.
Opo.
Okay. So they are responsible for the bids, the processes that are involved. They are also involved in the kumbaga yung transparency of the transactions as well as the other expenditures that are made in the name of the school. But the accountable person is, as far as the school is concerned, is Sinisea. School head sa school level, head teacher kung head teacher ang head, principal kung principal yung head. Of course, there are big schools na mayroon ng residents. Anong tawag doon? Resident COA sa kanila. Sila rin nag-check yan. We have also discussed other things What are those other things, Eddie? Eddie Baruso, please. Ano pa yung mga napag-usapan natin noon? Eddie? Eddie?
Hello, sir.
Yes, ano pa yung mga napag-usapan natin noon?
Ay, last meeting, sir, yung discussion about dun sa how is budget, yung budget process.
Yes.
Yes, sir. And we have a discussion about, actually, we have on the budget process of the school wherein it concerns about the MOOE.
Mhm.
Actually, hindi, kumbaga, I have no idea about MOOE. So I asked my classmates who are doing MOOE like Ma'am Elvira and kung paano nila ginagawa yung MOOE. And I learned that it must be transparent on the part on the liquidation of the budget. At the same time, teachers who are the budget are reflected but it must be transparent. At the same time, dapat makita rin sa school na yung kung saan nagastos yung budget.
Hello, Hazel.
Yun.
You just come in.
Yes, sir.
We are
So, yun
discussing
naman-
already what we have discussed last time. Yes, but by the way, anong ba yung MOOE? How is it computed and distributed to the schools? And we have LB, Elvera,
Sir,
please.
sir, it is based on the number of enrollment,
Yes.
the buildings, the number of graduates, staff. Hindi ko na maalala yun. Yun po.
Paano specifically ang computation noon? Melissa, can we hear from you? Melissa,
Sir,
paano kinukompute yan?
sir, ano po? Kasi before bago po kami mag-start, sir, inaalam po namin muna doon sa accounting po kung magkano po yung naka-allocate na funds namin. Kasi binibase po nila sa enrollees, sir. Kaya po ngayon, sir, bumaba pa yung enrollees namin, kaya bumaba din yung MOE namin.
Who knows anong exact formula ng computation nun? Anybody? Who knows how to do it?
Sir, based from the internet po, opo, sinasabi nga naman po tama po si Ma'am LB Knight, it depends on the number of enrollees po. Pero
Yes.
dito po sa computation, parang lumalabas po kasi sir, every classroom is equivalent to, for elementary po, every classroom is equivalent to 3,000. And then every teacher is equivalent to 4,000. And every learner is equivalent to 200 pesos.
Sa estudyante,
Opo, opo.
300 pesos.
Parang lumaki na yata yung sa estudyante ngayon, hindi lang ako.
Ay, hindi na 200, ma'am.
Hindi na, oo. Parang lumaki siya ng konti.
Opo.
So,
Parang, basically,
so around that figure, 300?
Yes po.
Ano ang kwan ngayon? Tumaas ng 500 or something? O hindi naman
Hindi
umabot
naman
doon?
po ganun kadami.
opo sila.
Parang 230,
Yeah, pero-
230 yata po per pupil eh. Per 225.
Yes, opo.
Parang ganun lang po siya.
Magkano?
230, 225, parang ganun po sir. Hindi po ako sure.
Pero Julian, sinabi mo 300 yata.
200 po, sir. 200.
100 po per pupil.
200. Ngayon, 250 na, 230.
Yes po. Yes po.
Okay. So, exactly, if you know the formula, how about the building? Hindi ba considered din ang building?
3,000.
1,000.
Classroom na pala yun.
Opo.
Classroom na yun. So, depende kung ano yung building mo, two-story building, doon classroom pa rin ang basehan nun, di ba?
Yes
So,
po.
easy naman. Easy how you do it. Just knowing the rate per item that is being considered, then you can easily compute it. So that you all you need to do is compute it and then verify it from kanino kayo nagtatanong, Melissa?
Sa ano po? Sa accounting, sir.
Accounting.
Charge ng doon sa accounting, sir.
Okay. So of course you have to know how much you have based on the rates per item, and then you can only verify it from kung tama naman yung computation nila. Yun ang kagandahan kasi kung alam mo kung ano ang rate per item that's being considered, and then all you need to do is verify. Alam mo naman kung dinadaya kayo ng mga accounting ninyo.
Kapag ano po, sir, kapag po nag-compute po ulit sila ng bago magtapos ang taon,
Yes.
binibigay naman po nila nga as supplementary MOOE kapag medyo na-short sila ng pagbigay.
Yeah. Anyway, that is the system that we have. So there's really a need to know what is happening so that you can be sure na tama yung binibigay at alam din ninyo yung procedure, how to go about it, yung bidding procedure, and how you award, ganun, bidding and awards procedures. Okay, so are there anything more that you want to add, Annalyn? Annalyn?
Yes, sir. Sir, na-discuss din po natin yung three types or kinds of budgeting, which are the balance budgeting, surplus budgeting, and deficit budgeting, sir.
Alright, deficit. At ano pa ang na-discuss natin tungkol dyan? Sa kinds of budgeting. Can we hear from you, Anne? Anne Mertel?
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Yes.
Sir, parang based po sa notes ko, we discuss about the Philippine budget process. Then, yung nabanggit nga po nila na budgeting, balance budgeting, surplus budgeting, and the 5 steps po dun sa goals.
Yes.
Yung budget call, budget preparation, yun po yung mga nabanggit natin last. Then we also mentioned about the capital outlay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Portability and nakuha ko.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Ano nga sabi natin tungkol dun sa deficit budgeting? Is it good or is bad? When is it good? And when is it bad? Can we hear from you, Salvador? Salvador.
Yes, sir. Pakiulit po yung tanong, sir.
In the deficit, there are three kinds of budgets. Ano?
Yes, sir.
We have the balance, we have the
Deficit.
surplus, we have the deficit. Ang tanong is, when is the deficit budgeting good? When is it necessary?
Yung deficit budgeting, sir, ay nagiging good if yung kung napupunta po para sa mga basic needs natin. For example, sa pagpapagawa ng bahay, kahit na medyo ma-deficit tayo, basta mapupunta po sa mga basic needs.
Okay, that is on the personal level. Pero yung doon sa school level, saan talaga nagkakaroon ng deficit budget kung sa school level? Even in the national level, for example. Kailan nagkakaroon ng deficit budgeting, and when is it, or what are the reasons why that is good during that kind of situation?
Sa school naman po, sir, for example, may mga biglaang projects na gagawin. Halimbawa, during rainy season, kailangan nating magpagawa ng konkretong daan para magamit ng mga estudyante, then doon tayo nagkakaroon ng deficit budgeting kasi urgent yung pangangailangan ng budget.
Yung daan ba pwedeng tustusan ng gobyerno?
Pwede rin pwede rin manggaling sa PTA. Kung big school ang one.
Okay. But ano ang classification ng mga items na pwedeng gamitan ng budget, deficit budgeting? Can we hear from Hazel? Hazel? Where are you? Yes, Hazel. Ano yung specific item na pwede ang deficit budgeting? Hindi school level.
Sir? Building, sir. Construction of roads ng mga sa school po natin.
Mm-hmm.
Pathways, yes, sir. Pathways.
Anong classification na? The general classification of those items. Teka muna, ano yung pinagkakagastusan ng school? Unang-una, personal services, right?
Yes, sir. Communication, electric.
Mga bills, water bills.
Ano yung water bills? I need to know, we need to know yung general classification para
maintenance.
then you go into the details. Una, personal services. Pangalawa,
communication.
Ano yung communication?
One po, sir, parang sa po nila ito, sa mga load po, sa mga internet connections.
Yes, pero saan galing yun? Saan galing yun?
Po, sir.
MOE, maintenance, operation, and other expenses.
Opo.
MOE, yun. So we have two, personal services, and then what is the next? What's the third?
Electric.
Di ba yung electric galing sa MOE yun?
Opo.
Maintenance, operating, and other expenses. Electricity, communications, telephone, and so on. Ano pa yung isang classification?
The repair.
Hello, Janeline? Repair is under MOE.
If it is 15,000 below, sir.
Ano yung above 6,000? Ano na yon?
Above 15,000.
Capital outlay.
Yes. Capital outlay is capital outlay is where you are allowed deficit budgeting, but buildings and acquisition of land, of real property. Doon ka pwedeng magkaroon ng deficit budgeting, but for yung MOE, hindi pwede. Dapat alam mo yung budget mo doon. Do not go beyond it. Doon sa personal service, hindi mo rin pwedeng dagdagan without permission. Diba?
Yes.
Kaya dapat alam niyo yung mga yun. Yung general classification. Tapos, under each general classification, alam niyo kung ano yun. Anong classification yung mga gagaling sa school board, local school board?
Special education fund.
Special education fund. Ano yung pwedeng gastusin doon? Mga gastusin na pwede doon?
Sa kwan po, sa sports.
Sports is one.
Yes.
Sa national contest din po.
Come again?
National contest po.
Mga
In journalism and
Science.
mga trainings, yan. Ano ba?
GSP, Boy Scouts activities.
Yeah, mga ganyang activities, ano? Ano pa? Pwede rin ang research, actually. Pero minsan, hindi ginagamit yan sa research. Linalaan para sa iba kung wala naman nag-ask kasi, wala namang nagre-request. So, possibly, when you do your dissertation, pwede yung explore yun. Baka pwede kayong makakuha ng support doon. Of course, ang kailangan naman na tustusan ng galing sa school board, pagka ganon, dapat naman yung related sa school ninyo, sa school board. Diba? Whatever areas they are interested in, ayun, pag-aralan ninyo para kumbaga, alamin niyo yung dapat natustusan galing sa school board fund. So, ano ba? What other things can you add to the information that we have? Emiliano, from the private sector naman, Emiliano, can we hear from you?
Yes, sir. Ang pagdating po sa private kasi, wala man kaming ganito. Yung mga pinag-uusapan dito sa public government fund. But we have we have support from the government. We call that ECE or yung TEAC.
Ano yun? Ano yun?
We receive budget from the government, sir, under Republic Act 8545 and amending Republic Act 6728. Ito po yung tinatawag naming private school assistance committee. Siya po yung nagmamanage. Pero galing po talaga sa Educational Service Contracting or ECE.
Yes.
Actually, we have dati po 7,000 per grade 7. Yung mga grade 7. Tapos pag yung senior high school, 17,000 like that. Pero ang nagmamanage PAYAC, yun po yun. Then the allocation of that is, of course, nakalagay siya para sa mga, parang tuition ng student, pang sweldo sa teacher, like that.
Alright.
Pino-audit po rin ito. Yes, sir.
Overall, it is based on the educational service.
Yes, sir.
Service, anong tawag lang? Educational service is service scheme. Contracting scheme, yes.
Contracting.
Educational service contracting scheme.
Yes, sir.
That was initiated una-una through a research that was done in UP back late 1980s. Experimented on a wider basis. That's why the idea there is like this. The entities like private schools cannot be funded by government funds. So what happened is there are an influx of in the public schools. The schools are overflowing with these enrollees, kaya hindi nila ma-accommodate lahat. But there are private institutions, private schools that have big buildings and hindi naman napupuno. So the idea came, pwede palang i-contract yung mga private institutions, private schools to provide the education for these children. So yung mga galing sa, yung mga sabihin natin na hindi ma-accommodate doon sa public schools, pwede sila doon sa private schools. And they will be paid a certain amount per student. At that time, it is 7,000. I don't know what is it now. Emiliano, is there an increase? O ano?
Wino-workout po na minsan maging 8,000. Pero hindi pa naman siya approved, sir. Nasa 7 pa lang. Yung sa grade
Yes.
7, sir.
It is approved by by Congress kasi.
Yes, sir. Hindi po siya madali, sir.
Legal basis for that. So, if you have, say, 50 students and accommodate doon, then you can apply for that. So, ganyan. That's some ways by which we can finance our institutions. Now, sabihin natin na wala na yung mga yon, tapos na, but there's still a need for our institutions to be having projects. Anong gagawin natin? Means by which we can finance our educational institutions, our own schools. For example, pagka hindi sapat yung MOE, kaya rin yan. Hindi rin na nakuha na rin ninyo na yung share ninyo sa school board. Mayroon na rin. There is still a need to be met in the school. What happens? Can we hear from you, Elvera?
Basta question na rin po.
Kung ninyo is natustusan na ng national budget, OE, meron na kayong personal services, nagkaroon na rin kayo ng mga budget, capital outlay, and so on, pero meron pa rin mga pangangailangan sa school. So what happens then? Saan nyo kukunin yung budget?
Doon na po papasok yung sa help from the stakeholders na po.
Who are these stakeholders?
People in the community which consist of the businessmen, yung sa then
Yes.
they can give grants or they can sponsor some of the projects that are needed in the school. Pwede rin po sa PTA. Noong normal pa po, we do our fundraising activities to have projects for the school, for the improvement of the school, and also for the pupils na rin po.
Okay. So, generally, you call that fundraising.
Yes po.
Okay. So, there are many ways by which you can raise funds for projects na kailangan pa kasi wala na pala yung galing sa normal na budget. So, yung mga school heads gaya ng study on the life of a day in the life of a principal. Tapos yung study na yun, it is a qualitative study. The researcher traced all the activities of the principal, that the principal woke up from bed to the time he goes back to bed at night. Trace nila yung tapos some analysis on what is happening, and the activities of the principal consisted of more than 80%, something like 85 to 89% solicitation of funds.
So they were called Solicitor General.
Maganda yan. Maganda yan. Magandang joke yan. Okay. Anyway, ganun nangyayari. I don't know if it's still happening this time kasi ibang situation naman. A long time ago, mga 20 years ago. So the situation might be different now, but still, there's a need for our educational institutions to raise funds
Yes.
when the
Kailangan.
regular sources,
Kailangan
the
ko talaga.
regular sources of your, yes, the regular sources are no longer need, so you need additional funding, you go to this route na magkaroon ng fundraising. I
Kailangan
think
ko
there's a
talaga.
need. Yes. And of course, alam natin from observation, there is do it and there is a good way to do it. Halimbawa, yung beauty contest halimbawa, nagkaroon sila ng maraming pero nung mag-accounting sila, kukunti naman ang iwan. Pagod lang yung mga involved. But
Kasi ginamit nila lahat sa coronation.
nagamit lahat. Wala rin na iwan.
Sa coronation at saka sa parade po.
Naubos lang din.
So yun nga, there is a bad way of doing it and there is a good way of doing it. Sometimes siguro after the midterm exam, siguro we can discuss that. How we can have fundraising that are good. How do we do legitimate fundraising and how to do it more effectively. Kasi sa ngayon, halimbawa, bingo party sa school, may maraming tutol dyan.
Hindi pwede.
So, there was a time na mayroong nagkaroon ng ganyan sa isang university, sabi ng mga tao a school that gambles together stays together. hindi pwede yung mga ganon. So there are bad ways to do it and there are good ways to do it. So we'll siguro after the midterm exams we'll discuss that. All right, ano pa ang mga masasabi ninyo? Any further comment from what we have already discussed?
Sir, pwede rin mag-request sa LGU sa mga kailangan pa ng school.
Okay. Sa barangay, for example.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Pero sa municipal level, we have the school board. School board yan.
Yes, sir.
Special Education Fund. Mga pinakagalingan yan. Dapat alamin na lang ninyo kung ano yung mga items na pwede ninyong tustusan from the local school board fund, SEF. Pero pwede rin sa mga barangay level, meron din siguro nakalaan para sa school. Come again?
Magbigay lang po ng resolution to be approved by the barangay for the school.
Okay. Kung pwede yan, you explore that kasi that's an added amount for your funding. Okay, so we go to the new topic. This time it is the school-based management. Can we hear from you what you have found out about school-based management? Anong school-based management? Olive, can we hear from you? Olive?
Hello, sir.
Yes, Olive.
Afternoon po.
What is SBM?
School-based management po.
Ano yan? What is it all about?
Sir. Sir, it is the strategy to improve education po. So by transferring significant decision-making authority from state and district offices to individual schools po. So ito po ata yung yearly ba or every 3 years na ginagawa pong report ng mga school head po?
3 years.
3 years po.
Yes, every 3 years po.
3 years.
So what's happening during those 3 years?
So dito po ata inaano yung mga improvement po ng school po within 3 years.
And then, una-una, what are the components of this school-based management. Para mag-discuss natin ng detalye. What are the components of this? Can we hear from you, Jesse? You have anything about it? Jesse? Sa college pala si Jesse, baka hindi niya. But anyway, you need to search about that. Ruby, can we hear from you? Ruby? Ruby? Sige, Elber, can you tell us more about it?
Sir, school-based management is defined as the decentralization of decision-making authority from central, regional, division levels down to the individual school sites.
Yes.
Tapos, the main goal is to parang to improve the school performance po and student achievements.
Mhm.
Nagbibigay din po ito ng to empower the principal to lead
Yes.
their teachers and the students to have a higher learning outcomes. Tapos yung mga resources din po nila, yun po, doon po nakapaloob yung sa SPM din.
Ano yung legal basis nito?
Yung Deputy Order number 55 series of 2008 po. Yun lang po yung
Okay. But there is a bigger one?
Yes.
That is all encompassing?
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Yes. Jonathan.
Yes, sir. The
Ano yung legal basis?
Opo, the legal basis for SBM are the following po: the Republic Act 9155,
Yes.
which is the Governance of Basic Education Act of 2001, and the School First Initiative or SFI of 2005, to Sector Reform Agenda or BESRA of 2006, and yun na nga po, the Republic Act 9155 po, sir.
All right. And then you have the department order. Yan na.
Yes, order sa po susunod po.
Okay. So, this activity or this function, sabihin natin, function of the school head, the school-based management is very much legal kasi may mga legal basis yan. But it has to be done according to what is prescribed or provided for by the RA 9155 and SIF and also the BESRA. Of course, yung detalye, the details of the implementation of this is given by department order. All right. So what are the components of the school-based management?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay po. The school-based management, actually it has four major principles po.
Yes.
First one is the leadership and governance. And the second one is the curriculum and instruction.
Yes.
The third one is the accountability and continuous improvement. And the next one is the management of resources po. So those are the four major principles of the SBM po, sir.
Will you repeat it? Will you repeat the four, Jonathan? Governance and leadership?
Leadership and governance po ang una, sir.
Okay.
Okay, and number two is curriculum and instruction.
Yes.
Or curriculum and learning, parang ganun po.
Yes.
And the third one is accountability and continuous improvement po, sir. Accountability and continuous improvement. Management of resources.
Resources.
Management
of resources.
Opo, sir.
So saan pumapasok yung budgeting natin in the SPM?
management of resources.
Management of resources po, sir.
Yes.
Mga kaperahan,
Pumapasok doon.
donations, contributions, yun po.
Then what is the overall result kung the school-based management was effective in your school? What will be the expected result?
Tataas po yung level.
Come again?
May levels po kasi yan, sir.
Okay, levels.
Tataas po.
Anong basis ng levels?
Jonathan, ano na yun?
Yes. Actually, sir, may kwan po ito. May every 3 years po nagkakandak po sila ng evaluation. Wherein sa bawat principle po na sinabi ko na may criteria.
Yes.
Leadership and governance, ang check po nila doon na mga criteria po na dapat na maipakita ni principal is the annual implementation plan, likewise the school improvement plan. So dapat po mag-guide po yun at lahat po ng laman ng AIP natin ay nasa SIP. So apart from that, mga community stakeholders not working in decision making. Ito po yung mga, for example, documentation kung paano po nagsagawa ang principal ng nagkaroon pa sila ng meeting, nagkaroon pa sila ng parang consultation regarding the programs na come up ng school. Kasi very important po yun, sir. Kapag may program po sa school, hindi lang po pwedeng nasabing may program, may black and white paper yon. Ang important, asa ng document mo? Asa ng document na nag-organize ka ng meeting na sino-sino bang kinausap mo? Kayo-kayo lang ba na mga internal stakeholders? Parang gusto ko nila makita, meron po dapat kasaling mga civic organizations o kaya parang external stakeholders din po, religious group from other organizations na dapat po, kasi po sinabing SPM, it is a shared governance ng school-based management. Kapag sinabi shared governance, sa leadership and governance po, dapat makita lahat ng evaluators yun pong mga documents na naka-align po na inanap sa bawat criteria.
Okay, so what is the overall objective of the school-based management?
To improve po, learning outcomes and to improve school, and at the same time po parang maging child-friendly yung isang school po.
Okay, so improvement of the school, specifically learning of the students, performance, academic performance of the children. So, sabihin natin na ang dami-dami ng activities. Meron kayong mga meetings, meron kayong mga ginawa sa mga projects na within the school. Pero yung academic performance naman ng mga pupils, bumaba naman instead of tumaas.
Yes.
Hindi effective yung school-based management. No?
Yes.
So what we're saying is that it is not only the paper, supporting papers that are needed.
Yes.
You really need to show that there is an improvement in the academic performance of the pupils. And also,
Kapag po tumataas yung level ng school, tumataas din po yung performance ng mga bata. Yun po yung main goal ng
that's right.
At yung performance po ng mga bata, sir, makikita po dapat yun sa third principle, accountability and continuous improvement po.
Yeah, accountability and continuous improvement. So, hindi lang yung mga bata nag-improve, the school facilities are improving as well. In what way? In what way na magkakaroon ng improvement yung mga teachers?
Through training.
Yes, training.
Attending graduate school po, mga ganun. Scholarship plans.
In other words, you also
Tapos innovations din po. We have their innovations to improve the performance of the pupils. At kung may innovation po, ibig sabihin, pati yung teacher po, nag-upgrade din.
Correct.
So, in other words, that is covered under yung tinatawag na action research, action plan.
Yes.
So, kaya one requirement for a school official or a teachers and school officials like school heads, principals and head teachers can be promoted is when they have
Action.
first, the objective, number one objective of action research is to improve practice. Pagka sa teacher level, improve instructional practice, pedagogical or instructional practice. Kung doon naman sa school head level, improvement of administrative and supervisory practice. In other words, overall management. Yeah. But take note na yung kung saan pumapasok yung financing is where resources, the management of resources, doon siya pumapasok. And you should know the details of that. Ano yung mga details? The management of resources. Paano nyo ginagawa, Melissa? Melissa Campus? This? For sure, you have some experience regarding this. Paano yun yung ginagawa? Ano yung mga detalye ng management of resources?
Sir.
Yes. Go ahead, please.
Sir. Ano sir? Ulit sa yung tanong.
How do you go about it, Melissa?
Sir, planning po, nag-plan po kami para sa resources na i-assign po sa yung mga kasama ko, sir. Yung mga kinakailangan sa school. Kagaya ngayon, sir, sa school namin, as we tackle a while ago, sir, yung deficit ng yung pinag-usapan natin kanina na yung MOE, sir. Kulang po yung sir, yung labor namin, sir. Yung mga materials kasi, sir, na gagawin sa project, magkakaroon din po kami ng labor doon, sir. Yung gagawa yung magre-repair po, sir, kulang po. Doon po kami nagkakaproblema, sir, sa labor. Pero din sa MOE, kaya lang po, kung saan-saan kami kami kukuha, doon sa mga stakeholder na lang kami, sir, umihingi po sa mga barangay.
So, specifically, how do you go about it? Diba, meron kayong, unang-una, inaalam ninyo yung situation ninyo, di ba?
Yes, sir.
Do you, apply any kind of analysis in doing that?
Nagkaano po kami, sir?
Situational analysis, for example? Eddie, can we hear from you? Are you familiar with this management of resources in the SBM?
Sir, no idea po.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead, Eddie. What are you saying?
Sir, no idea po ako.
You have no idea. you need to know. This time you need to know kasi that is one area wherein financing of educational institutions come in. So what are the details
Yes, sir,
of
I'm
that?
listening to them.
What are the details of that? Salvador, are you saying something?
Sir, share ko lang po yung one. Sa
Yes,
management
go
of
ahead.
resources, there must be a regular resource inventory collaboratively undertaken by learning managers, learning facilitators, and holders as basis for resource allocation
Yes.
and mobilization, sir.
Una-una, regular inventory
Yes,
of
sir.
what is there. Kung
Yes,
ano
sir.
yung presently available na resources. Okay? And then what's next?
Hello po sir.
Yes, Ruby?
Sir, additional lang po sa sa management of resources.
Yes.
Dito po kasi sa Management of Resources in SBM, dito po nila hinahanap kung saan po napupunta yung gain sa canteen, kung nagkaroon po ng fundraising activity, kung saan po napunta, dito po makikita sa Management of Resources.
So in other words, inventory pa rin yan kung ano yung available na resources. Okay? What is next after that?
Number 2. Share ko ulit, sir.
Ha?
Share ko ulit yung meron sa akin.
Go ahead.
Yung second
Continue.
is a regular dialogue for planning and resource programming that is accessible and inclusive, continuously engage stakeholders, and support implementation of community education plans.
Okay, planning. Yung second, ano? Anong basis ng planning?
Sa planning, sir, yung mga movies kasi dito, sir, yung sa DRRM planning, work plan and budget metrics, the
So, siguro
brigades.
yung need ng
Yeah.
school.
There must be a basis for that.
Yes, sir.
Una, yung data mo from the inventory,
Yes, sir, yung mga data.
papasok yun. Pangalawa, anong next? Anong basis ng planning?
Yung mga brigade eskwela report, sir.
Needs na sir ng school siguro.
Okay,
Mga
needs.
needs.
Yeah, you needs assessment will come in.
Donation po.
Okay, needs
Saan po
assessment.
yung ipa-prioritize na project na gagamitin
Okay,
ng
prioritizing of projects. You have a list of needs and then you prioritize the needs. Yan ang basis ng planning. What is next now, Salvador?
Yung
After the planning?
After the planning, okay, in place is a community developed resource management system that drives appropriate behaviors of the stakeholders to ensure judicious, appropriate, and effective use of resource. Yun po yung...
So, magagaling sa stakeholders, ano?
Yes po, sir.
Insurance, or yes, to ensure
and effective use of
effective
resources.
use of resources. Okay. What's next?
Okay, number 4, regular monitoring, evaluation, and reporting processes of resource management are collaboratively developed and implemented by the learning managers, facilitators, and community stakeholders.
Okay, that's where your reports are, your checklists are, and so on.
Yes, sir.
Anything more?
Meron pang isa, sir. Number 5.
Yes.
There is a system that manages the network and linkages which strengthens and sustains partnership for improving resource management.
Okay.
Yun po yung last.
All right. So all of you, I suggest that you should know the details of those 5 things that are under resource management. Para alam ninyo kung saan papasok yung financing aspect of this bill. Okay? Anything more? Any comment? Jenny Lynn, you have something to add to the discussion? Jenny Lynn?
Hello, sir. Yun lang din po yung na-research ko, sir.
Ganun. Okay.
Yes po.
Any comment on those aspects that are needed?
Sir, i-share ko lang po yung regional order kung saan ko nakuha yung memo. Regional order number 02, series 2019, title, Policy Guidelines on the Utilization of School-Based Management Assessment Tool with Contextualized Means of Verifications. Yun po yung
yung contextualized mismo. Ibig sabihin, it is according to what is needed really. Hindi yung they just look at the ceiling and then ito na yung ipaplano. Hindi, actually it is contextualized. Ano talaga yung need. Okay? Anything more that you can add? Anne, Bertel, can we hear from you?
And so far, sir, so nag-take down notes po ako kasi I'm not that so familiar with the school-based management pagdating po sa DepEd.
But still, you need to to know it kasi that is where the financing comes in.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Alright, so I expect na yung paper ninyo will be focused on the resource management in school-based management. You have to give some background there of the school-based management, yung legal basis of it, in the details of it, some details, but you focus more on the resource management aspect of it because that is where the financing aspect, the financing of education institutions come in. Okay? And then, of course, I need your comments also on that paper. And then, let me remind you na yung paper na yan, again, will be uploaded to your Google Drive. If you have not done it yet, you do it. I will have you share me your link so that I can look at it also. For purposes of grading, scoring, giving some kind of marks for not necessarily editing of what your work is, because that would be a very gigantual work for the professor if we have to edit your work grammatically and so on. By this time, I think you should be responsible for your own editing already, Make sure that your paper is acceptable and pwede natin ipagmalaki kahit saan, So I need to see them also as well. All right, anything else that you need to know, you need to add to our information? Meron pa? Ang midterm examination natin dapat last Sunday pa naibigay, but since marami tayong hindi nagawa because of the situation in the internet and so on. So may mga interference na ganyan, so we were not able to have it on time. But the schedule actually of the graduate school is last Sunday sana. That is the 18th. Pero dahil wala naman na kayo, if you have no more comments, I'm now giving you your midterm exam. But before I do that, kasi I will just post it in our chat group. Let me remind you that your work will be done using font style Arial. Tapos font size is 12. Yung paper size natin is, if we have to print it, it will be the 8.5 by 11 inches, which is the short coupon band or short book paper. We are not going to print this actually, but yun pa rin yung format na gagamitin. 1 inch at the top margin, bottom margin is 1 inch, right margin is 1 inch, but on the left margin, you have 1.5. Okay, that will be our format. And it should be, teka muna, ito pala midterm examination, it has to be printed, hard copy, ang pa natin is, yung answers should be in double space. Short common band or bond pay or book paper, margining, specified margining, 1.5 on the left, 1 on the top, bottom, and right margin. Okay, so we would like to have your output on or before April 30. Okay, you sent me your hard copy via LBC or any courier service that is available to you. Bakit natin require ito? Kasi graduate school is requiring a what you call uh, evidence-based kind of activity. Kung mayroon tayong activity, they need also an evidence that that happened, na nagkaroon nga tayo ng midterm examination. That's why we need to have it hard copy. So you have to send it to me. Other requirements must be uploaded to your Google Drive. Pero yung midterm examination at saka yung final examination plus the final output will be in hard copy to be sent to me. Okay? So, are there any more questions regarding what we have said so far? Meron pa ba?
That's so far.
Wala na. Okay, so let's call it a day. Therefore, we can end our discussions now. And then I will just post the midterm examination on our chat group. But before we do that, let's have our screenshot for our attendance.